complaining. They were murmuring and saying to Moses, why do you think you're special? Does God only speak to you? Do you consider yourself higher than us? And they were murmuring. In chapter 13, God told Moses to choose one man per tribe to spy out the land. And what happened? They spied out the land and they gave a bad report. Over and over and over, the Israelites were complaining non-stop. Every single thing they complain. The water doesn't taste good. The food does not taste good. We want meat. We want prime rib. Instead of being thankful. And with the promised land in their grasp, they did not believe in God. They're saying that they believed a bad report. Go to chapter 14, Numbers chapter 14, please. Numbers chapter 14. Verse 1 says, so that's after 13 is when they believed the bad report. Chapter 14 verse 1 says, then all the congregation lifted up their voice and cried, and the people wept that night. You know, when they heard the bad report in chapter 13, in chapter 14 verse 1, napaka-arte nila. The word lift up their voice, right? Normally, you don't use that word and cried. Normally, the Hebrews, they either say they lift up their voice to God, or they cry to God. But never do you see this pairing. They lift up their voice and cried. It was a dramatic and intense crying. They did not believe. God made a promise. I will take you to a land where there is milk and honey. And instead of believing in God, they believe the reports of man. They believe in what they see, what they hear, what their logic says. When life seems not fair, we assess our life based on what we hear, what we see, what we feel. May we not be like them. May we base our emotions and our belief on the promises of God. Here they were crying out as if God has a bad intention for them. And as you know, whenever they speak, they were saying, why did God take us? Does God want to slaughter us in the desert? Verse 2, all the sons of Israel grumbled against Moses and Aaron and said to them, would that we die in the land of Egypt, or would that we die in this wilderness? Why is the Lord bringing us into this land to fall by the sword? Our wives and our little ones will become plunder. Would it not be better for us to return to Egypt? Unbelievable. So they said to one another, let us appoint a leader and return to Egypt. You know, since Exodus chapter 1 until Numbers chapter 13, I mean, they were pushing and pushing to get to the promised land. Now they want to go back. Then Moses and Aaron fell to their face in the presence of the assembly of the congregations of the sons of Israel. Joshua the son of Nun and Caleb the son of Jephunneh, of those who have spied in the land, tore their clothes, and they spoke to all of the congregation of the sons of Israel, saying, the land which we passed through to spy out is exceedingly good land. If the Lord is pleased with us, then he will bring us into this land and give it to us, a land which flows with milk and honey. Only do not rebel against the Lord. Do not fear the people of the land, for they shall be our prey. Their protection has been removed from them, and the Lord is with us. Do not fear them. But all the congregation said to stone them with stones. Then the Lord of glory appeared to the tent of meetings to all the sons of Israel. What did they do? They said, not only do we not believe your report, because you gave that report, we'll kill you. We will stone you to death. Do we grumble? Are we like them? What is the implication of this? Go to Psalm 106, please. Psalm 106, verse 24 to 25. Then they despised the pleasant land. They did not believe in his word, but grumbled in their tents. They did not listen to the voice of the Lord. That was a problem. They did not believe in God. When we grumble, we don't believe in God. Not that we don't believe He exists. Not that we don't believe that He's our Savior. But we don't believe that He's good. That we don't believe that His word that says that I have your best interest at my heart. We don't believe in that when we grumble. When we grumble, we say as if, Lord, you made a mistake. How could you? You don't say it, but really it boils down to that. James chapter 5, verse 9 says, do not complain. Do not complain. 1 Peter chapter 4 says, be hospitable to one another without complaining. You know, the word grumbling is a onomatopoeic word, which means the pronouncement of the word describes the word. You know, when you say, don't grumble. Di ba when you say grumble, parang nagko-complain ka na. Don't grumble. That's what they call an onomatopoeic word. In Hebrew or in Greek, the word is gongosmos. Parang nagko-complain. Gongosmos. Grumbling, grumble. And basically, as I mentioned, we're saying we don't believe you. We don't believe you. Now, as I mentioned, when you grumble, you are not drawing the lost world to God. That's the problem. Because why would they want to believe in your God whom you grumble against? You might not realize that. You might not see the real implication of your grumbling and complaining to the lost world. Remember, all of these precepts and commandments of God was meant for you to behave in a manner that will draw others, the lost, towards God. And when you grumble, you don't do that. Would I, if somebody invites me to join a corporation, and my friend who works for that corporation, everything I hear about everything I hear from his mouth is complaining about the boss, his boss. Would I want to apply to his boss? Why would I? Napakasalbahe niya. Right? Alam mo, like I was telling myself, this is just my personal opinion. Sabi ko, kawawa yung mga cabinet ni Duterte. Really? Kasi I'll have a hard time defending my boss, if that's my boss. I'm the alter ego, supposedly, di ba? It's very difficult. Why would I want to apply? Then all I hear from you is your complaint. You're complaining about your boss. When we complain, when we grumble, you do not know it, but you are not drawing people closer to God. You're missing the point of your salvation. The point of your salvation is for the glory of God. That people will be drawn to God because of your behavior. Sabi nga ng Bible sa 1 Thessalonians, in everything, give thanks. In everything. Not in everything, complain. No, in everything, give thanks to God. Do all things without grumbling or disputing. Meaning what? Fighting, arguing. Some people, you tell them, do this, they will grumble, they will fight before they obey. Wow. Obey na lang. Don't ever fight. That's not the way. And sometimes the thing with this command, verse 14 is, yes, we can do away with grumbling. Yes, we can do away with disputing. The difficult word here in verse 14 is, do all things. The problem word here is all. Meaning what? There should be there is no instance in your life, there should be no situation in your life that you should be complaining. And that is a command of God. Complaining is a sin. All things, including your family, your friends, your work, your spouse. Iba nga, pati weather, they complain. Ang init. Nakakainis. Aburido siya. Ang init eh. You can complain about a lot of things. When somebody tells you to do something, you complain. Ako na naman, ba't hindi ikaw? Ikaw kaya gumawa. Ang hirap-hirap dito. Wow. Do all things without, meaning, may it be far from you. But some people might say, Bob, I'm not grumbling. I'm just voicing out my thoughts. Ang ganda. Yeah, grumble ka pa rin. You're still grumbling. Really. Because you are against, you are protesting. You're protesting. And the point is, we are not to do that if we are to draw people to God. Realize your life is not about you. It's not about me. It's about Him. Exodus chapter 16, verse 8 says, Moses said, "This will happen